Welcome back to the 12 days of MLB rankings. Today I have for you second base. The two previous were of course catcher and first base, so now we're getting started with our third video. I really hope you guys are enjoying this series so far. It's a lot of time and effort to make, but it's been a lot of fun. And we're literally still just getting started, being only on the third video. I don't know if you guys can tell right now, but usually when I film my videos, it's like evening or kind of like later into the night. But this is like the first video in a couple weeks where I'm filming during the day and I have my window open, I have a little bit more natural light. So anyways, without further ado, let's dive right into the ranking. Getting it started for us from the Milwaukee Brewers, we have Bryce Turang. This is his rookie season, and yet it wasn't really all that great. He played in 137 games, but only hitting 6 homers, 34 RBIs, and a .218 batting average, and a 62 OPS plus. Very below average numbers. And for him being a rookie and putting up these kind of numbers, I'm quite surprised he played more than 100 games. He does have 26 stolen bases. Bryce Turang does rank last on my list. Let's move on. Moving on to the number 30 spot, we have Ji-Hwan Bae from the Pittsburgh Pirates. He's also a rookie. He only played in 10 games in 2022. In this prior season, he played in 111. He only hit 2 homers and had 32 RBIs while hitting a .231 batting average and a 67 OPS plus. So again, very below average. So yeah, these last bottom two, not the greatest. Moving on to the number 29 spot, we have Alan Trejo from the Colorado Rockies. He played in exactly half the games this year. He did hit 4 homers with 26 RBIs and a .232 batting average and a 63 OPS plus. These bottom second basemen right here are at the bottom for a reason. They don't really have any impressive stats or numbers. They're just below average around here. So we're gonna go ahead and move on. Moving on to the number 28 spot, we have Miguel Vargas from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He was, again, very below average player for the Dodgers. He had a negative WAR. He hit 7 homers, but had a 195 batting average and only 32 RBIs. An OPS plus of 81, but still nothing special right there. He does have a pretty good walk percentage, being at 12.5, but again, nothing too much to highlight about these players. Moving on. Moving on to the number 27 spot, we have Michael Massey from the Kansas City Royals. He played in 129 games this year with 15 homers, 55 RBIs, and a .229 batting average, and an OPS plus of 78. He doesn't really walk for anything. He only has a 5 walk percentage. But yeah, for him, he's pretty below average. Again, we have another rookie right here. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and move on to number 26 with Luis Garcia from the Washington Nationals. So Garcia is still young. He is 23, but this is his 4th year in the majors. He played in 122 games this season, which is the highest of his career. He did have 9 homers with 50 RBIs and a .266 batting average with a 90 OPS plus. So we're jumping up here a little bit in these rankings. Anyways, we're gonna go ahead and move on. That's why he's ahead of all the guys previously mentioned. We're starting to see improvement just a little bit. Moving on to the number 25th spot, we have Jose Caballero from the Seattle Mariners. Here we are with another rookie on our hands. It just seems like second basemen are the easiest positions to develop in the majors, honestly. Anyways, he played in 104 games this year. He hit 4 homers with only 26 RBIs. He did have 26 stolen bases, but also only hitting a .221 batting average with an OPS plus of 90. Moving on to Adam Frazier from the Baltimore Orioles. So Frazier, again, has bounced around a lot in his career. He played in 141 games this year. He hit 13 homers, which is a career high, and 60 RBIs with a .240 batting average and a 94 OPS plus. Doesn't really strike out, only having a 15 strikeout percentage. So this year he showed a little bit more power with, like I said, having a career high 13 homers. Moving on to the number 23 spot, we have Whit Merrifield from the Toronto Blue Jays. Kind of fallen off a little bit this year. He still played in 145 games, but he hit 11 homers, which he's never been a big home run guy. He had 67 RBIs, with a .272 batting average and an OPS plus of 94. But according to Baseball Savant as well, he's just not even a good fielder. He's got a lot of blue on his Baseball Savant this year. The most red he has is his K percentage and sprint speed. So yeah, he can still run, but he can't field and he doesn't even hit the ball that well. Moving on to the number 22 spot, we have Andy Ibanez? I think that's how you pronounce it, from the Detroit Tigers. He had 11 homers this year with a .264 batting average and 41 RBIs. He had a .433 slug and a .744 OPS with an OPS plus of 102. He is the first player on this list with an OPS higher than 100. His speed isn't all there, but he's actually a pretty decent fielder. He is above average in all of his baseball savant metrics. So yeah, he's pretty decent. I wouldn't say he's anything more than average, but I think he's a pretty good glove to have for the Tigers right now. Moving on to the number 21 spot, we have Jonathan India from the Cincinnati Reds. There's even rumors he's going to be traded this offseason. Former Rookie of the Year, having just won that in 2021. He did hit 17 homers this year with 61 RBIs, a huge bounce back from last season. He only played in 103 games last year. The power was down. He just wasn't healthy to play, so his numbers were down a lot. This year was a nice bounce back for him. Not as great as his rookie year. He's excellent at not chasing balls outside of the strike zone. He's a good base runner. He's fast. He's got a lot of talent, honestly. He just needs to find it back than his rookie year and improve more. Moving on to the top 20, we have Jorge Polanco from the Minnesota Twins. Polanco, who has been with the Minnesota Twins for his whole career, this year he hit 14 homers with 48 RBIs and a .255 batting average with an OPS plus of 115. He only played in half the season, only 80 games, but he still put up decent numbers. Strikeouts are a little bit high, but he does walk a decent amount. Moving on to the number 19 spot, we have from the New York Mets, Jeff McNeil. And I'm not gonna lie to you, second base is not like the most stacked position. I think it's one of the least stacked positions if you count like 1 through 30. But from right now, and of course to the number 1 spot, all of these players do have something to offer, even Jeff McNeil at number 19. Let's just get into him though. This was definitely a down year. He hit 10 homers with a .270 batting average, 55 RBIs, 711 OPS, and an OPS plus of 96. Compared to last year, you know, him hitting a .326 batting average, winning a Silver Slugger, and having an All-Star, like this year was just not as good as last year. He only has a strikeout percentage at 10. But yeah, the guy doesn't strike out, and he's done that for literally all of his career. Moving on to the number 18 spot, we have Mauricio Dubon from the Houston Astros. He had just a slightly better numbers than Jeff McNeil. He did have the same amount of homers at 10 with a .278 batting average and 46 RBIs. He did have an OPS plus at 97. He did win a Gold Glove this year. He played in 132 games this season, but that was kind of a mix all over. But majority, he played 79 games at second, and that's why he qualifies for this list. He has amazing range. He doesn't strike out as well. But other than that glove, he's still just a little average or below average for me. So, moving on. Moving on to the number 17 spot, we have Thairo Estrada. Is that how you pronounce his first name? Again, he had a pretty decent year. He hit 14 homers with a .271 batting average, 49 RBIs, 23 stolen bases, and an OPS plus of 101. But again, just like I have had to say about a lot of these players, he just refuses to walk, with only a 4.2 walk percentage. But he's also used kind of in that utility role. He plays a little shortstop, he plays a little left field, but majority at second base. Pretty solid for the Giants. We're gonna go ahead and move on. Moving on to the number 16 spot, we have Luis Rengifo from the Los Angeles Angels. He did play in 126 games this year with 16 homers and 51 RBIs, along with a .254 batting average and an OPS plus of 111. And unlike a lot of the other players, he does get on base via walk. But other than that, he's not a good fielder. According to Baseball Savant, all of his fielding and batting metrics are blue, which if you don't know Baseball Savant, blue is not good. It's below average. You want to see red. And as of right now, I don't see hardly any red. Moving on to the top 15, we have Brandon Lau from the Tampa Bay Rays. Brandon Lau, I just think every single year he's consistent and he hits. He hit 21 homers this year with a .231 batting average, 68 RBIs, and a .771 OPS with an OPS plus of 113. He's a good fielder. Strikeouts are a bit high at a 27%, but like I said, walks, he's almost got a 12%. Last year, 2022, he only played in 65 games, so this year was a nice bounce back compared to last, and let's hope for next year an even better year. Moving on to number 14, we have Brandon Drury from the Los Angeles Angels. He had some pretty good slugging numbers, hitting 26 homers with a .262 batting average and 83 RBIs. He had a .497 slug, an .803 OPS, and an OPS plus of 114. And obviously, like one of the previous players I mentioned, Luis Rengifo, they shared time at the second base position, but Drury taking over most of that. Honestly, pretty solid. We're getting to the more so above average and decent, really good players. playing at second. Moving on to the number 13 spot, we have Nolan Gorman from the St. Louis Cardinals. Gorman, again, a pretty good year the time he played. He played in 119 games, hitting 27 homers with 76 RBIs. He had a .236 batting average, an OPS of .805, and an OPS plus of 117. But a way better season than he had last year. Last year was his first rookie season. He played in 89 games for the Cardinals, but he just about doubled his homers and more than doubled his RBIs. Moving on to number 12, we have Edouard Julien. Did I pronounce that right? From the Minnesota Twins. This is again his rookie season. He's 24. He played in 109 games while hitting 16 homers, 37 RBIs, and slashing a .263 batting average, a .459 slug, and an .839 OPS, with an OPS plus of 130. A really solid rookie season. We have all of these rookies right now. You're either a veteran second baseman who's played for 8 years, or you're a rookie. We're getting to the really good second basemen right here at the top 12. Julian's pretty good at that. He's very solid. All right, guys, please forgive me. I realized way later in my editing that I said that Edouard Julien and Zach Geloff were both number 12, and after Zach Geloff, it screwed up the whole rest of my freaking ranking list, at least until the top 5. So like the next 6 or 7 are kind of out of place. Yeah, I filmed this video on only 2 hours of sleep, so I apologize for the confusion. I did want to go ahead and clear up just imagine every position I rank the player at. They're just one step ahead. So Zach Geloff being at 12, he's 11. The number 11 spot, he's really at 10. And you'll hear me, spoiler alert, Andres Jimenez from the Cleveland Guardians, you'll hear me say just missing in the top 10. Bruh, he was at my number 10 spot. But, man, okay. There's always a mistake, so I just wanted to clear that up with you guys. I apologize, but at the 5th or 6th spot, it gets better. Moving on to the number 12 spot, we have Zach Geloff from the Oakland Athletics. This may be a little bit of a bold pick because he only played in 69 games this season, but he put up very impressive numbers. So if he could play full season and put up numbers just almost as good as these, he could definitely slip in a little bit higher on this list. But in those 69 games this season, he hit 14 homers with a .267 batting average and 32 RBIs. He had a .504 slug, an .840 OPS, and an OPS plus of 137. Strikeouts are a bit high, but a lot of rookies come up, and that's the main thing that they do struggle with. But he's just still only 23, so hopefully next year he comes back, he has a full season, puts up numbers just as good as this, if even a little bit slightly less. That's a good season in my books. Moving on to the number 11 spot, we have Andres Jimenez from the Cleveland Guardians. I could see some people hating on this. I get it. He is a phenomenal Gold Glover. He's a 2-time Gold Glover. He's also a holder of the Platinum Glove. Anyways, he had a 5.3 baseball reference WAR. I only want to mention WAR if it's above like 3. That just kind of shows how valuable they were to their team. And the Guardians weren't even that good this year, okay? The whole team just didn't hit for power, like at all. But in 153 games, he hit 15 homers and 62 RBIs with a .251 batting average, a .712 OPS, and an OPS plus of 98. Yeah, Andres Jimenez just missing out on the top 10. On to the top 10. Getting us started at the top 10, we have Bryson Stott from the Philadelphia Phillies. Now, Stott in the number 9, I'm just going to say, they may not be the best, but they are definitely my favorite second basemen in the game. Maybe you'll understand why. But moving on to Bryson Stott, he had a 4.3 baseball reference WAR while hitting 15 homers with a .280 batting average and 62 RBIs while stealing 31 bases, having a .747 OPS and an OPS plus of 104. He played in 151 games this year. Last year he played a lot at like shortstop because the Phillies didn't really have a shortstop. But them getting Turner, he moved to second, and I feel like second base just suits him so well. There's not too much pressure to be like the shortstop and producing as well as a lot of the other top shortstops. Second base is a little bit more chill. He has a 15.6 strikeout percentage. He's an excellent fielder. Absolutely, he's a lot of fun to watch, okay? I know why Phillies fans love him. Moving on to the number 9 spot, we have my Chicago Cubs second baseman, Nico Hoerner. Nico Hoerner, given, of course, he's just one of my favorite players, and I'm so happy that this year was his breakout season that he desperately needed. Last year was his first year playing in over 100 games in a season since, well, not since, just at all in his career. He got called up in 2019. 2020 was a COVID-shortened year. In 2021, he dealt with injuries. 2022 was a good season for him, for sure, but there were still things that just lacked. This year was definitely his breakout year, playing in 150 games, hitting 9 homers with 68 RBIs, a career high, with 43 stolen bases, also another career high, with a 283 batting average, a 729 OPS, and an OPS plus of 97. He also won his first Gold Glove. He very well could have won it last year. This year, pairing up with Swanson, he was bound to win it. He doesn't strike out at all. He only has a 12.1 strikeout percentage. Nico Hoerner literally hit 3 homers in his first 20 rookie season games. Didn't hit any homers for 2 years. And in 2022, came out and hit 10. This year, just missing out on that and hit 9. I'll stop there. I don't want to seem too biased here. But Nico Hoerner's fun to watch on the field, in the batter's box. Moving on to the number 8 spot, we have Han-Seong Kim from the San Diego Padres. Kim had a breakout season. Not only, I would say, offensively, but even defensively, winning his first Gold Glove. He had a 5.8 WAR while hitting 17 homers with a 260 batting average and 60 RBIs. He also stole 38 bases with a 398 slug, a 749 OPS, and an OPS plus of 110. But like I said, offensively, this year was just very good. A career high batting average, a career high homers, and his walk percentage is getting higher and higher by the year. He's at a 12% this year, which grew by 4% from last year. So he definitely keeps improving and he's fun to watch. Moving on to the number 7 spot, we have Gleyber Torres from the New York Yankees. He played in 158 games this year, which is a career high. He hit 25 homers with 68 RBIs, with a 273 batting average, an OPS of 800, and an OPS plus of 118. He has a 14.6 strikeout percentage this year, and every year it has just declined. 2020 was his lowest year with a 17, but it rose back up to 20, and then 22%, and this year all the way back down 6%. So a lot of improvements there, even in the walking category. He walks more. He has a 10 walk percentage, which is a far improvement from last year, only having walked 6%. Anyways, Gleyber Torres, very solid for the Yankees. Moving on to the top 5, getting it started for us, we have Luis Ariz from the Miami Marlins. A lot of you may be thinking, unless you agree with me, why is he at 5? How come he's not any higher? Don't get me wrong, he's like the best contact hitter in the game right now. I hate to say it, but that's all he does. He just hits singles, which I'm not saying isn't good. It gives his team a good chance to drive him in, getting on base so many times. He doesn't hit for power. He did play in 147 games though, with 203 hits, 10 homers, 69 RBIs, and of course the highlight, a 354 batting average. He was an all-star for his second time in his career, and he won his second Silver Slugger and his second batting title in 2 years. He had an OPS of 861 and an OPS plus of 133. Luis Ariz is still a top 5 second baseman. That's why he's there. Moving on to number 4, we have Ketel Marte, who ironically wears the number 4. Ketel Marte has always been a really good second baseman. This year was such a standout year to me, and that's why he's so high. He had a 4.9 WAR, hitting 25 homers with a 276 batting average, 82 RBIs, a 485 slug, an 844 OPS, and an OPS plus of 128. And he won NLCS MVP this year with the Diamondbacks, who of course made it to the World Series. He's a pretty decent fielder, nothing crazy, but he's got a good glove over there at second. Moving on to the number 3 spot, we have Ozzie Albies from the Atlanta Braves. The one thing I want to note about him right off the bat, he once was an excellent elite defender. The key word in that, once was. Now, this year, everything defensively just dropped for him. He did have a 4.7 WAR, hitting 33 homers, which is a career high for him, hitting from both sides of the plate, with also a career high 109 RBIs, with a 280 batting average, an 849 OPS, and an OPS plus of 124. Of course, he just continues to be one of the top second basemen in the game. Moving on to the top 2. Getting it started for us, we have Jose Altuve from the Houston Astros. Altuve missed a lot of time this year due to injury. He has a 2.8 WAR, but that's him only playing in 90 games this year. hitting 17 homers with 51 RBIs and a 311 batting average, a 522 slug, a 915 OPS, and an OPS plus of 151. He's still one of the best second basemen, and that's why he's at the number 2 spot. Moving on to the top second baseman, we have Texas Ranger Marcus Semien. He is my number 1 on the second baseman rankings, and here's why. He had a 7.4 WAR with 29 homers, a 276 batting average, 122 runs with 100 RBIs, and a solid 14 stolen bases, a 478 slug, an 826 OPS, and an OPS plus of 122. Just amazing offensively for him, but defensively, he does not shy there as well. He is a 99 on fielding range. When it comes to fielding, on Baseball Savant, it's all red for him. He did win a Gold Glove in 2021. He stays healthy all year. In the last 3 seasons, he's only missed 1 game. He doesn't strike out, having only a 14 strikeout percentage. Marcus Semien is just that guy. He's just him. He's just an all-around great second baseman, and that's why he is number 1 on my list. So that wraps up the second baseman list for my 12 days of MLB rankings. I really hope you guys are enjoying these videos so far, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know what you guys think. Second baseman, I hate to say it, it's kind of more of the boring position, at least like 30 through number 10. The top 10, I feel like, was a pretty good list. Anyway, so like I said, I just hope you guys are enjoying these videos so far. They do take a little bit more time and effort to prep, edit, everything else in between. So any like and subscribe absolutely means the world to me, especially around this holiday season. It would be absolutely insane to start off 2024 with about 500 subscribers. That's my next milestone. And I don't know if we could do it, but if we can get pretty close and start off the new year at a new milestone, would be just like a dream come true. Any support means the world to me. Comment down below what you guys think on this list. Did I do a good job? And yeah, we still have a long way to go leading from now all the way up until Christmas Day. But I hope you guys are enjoying them. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. So please make sure to like and subscribe. Peace.